Good morning, everyone. Well, good morning if you're in California. Otherwise, good evening, or I have just a happy day. We are here at the Adobe Live Studio, and I'm your host, Julia Masaska. Today, I'm going to be hosting the amazing and talented Amanga Wangersheim. She started yesterday with a graphic design of a poster, and today we're going to get into the motion part of it. So we're going to have an animated poster that's going to be super, super exciting. And in about 30 minutes, we're going to do a giveaway with Chat and Win. Valentina, Sam, Jason, Josh, welcome everybody.
Good morning.
Noel, Kobe. So cool to see you guys. I hope many of you who were here yesterday are back. And yeah, we're super excited to jump into the work. But first things first, we're more than happy to review your daily creative challenge submissions. So make sure you submit them on our design feedback channel in Discord, which where you can submit your work, and then it will be reviewed. Or you can also get past challenge feedback. So and also the topic of today will be combining text and shapes to create a typographic poster. So it will be up to you what you'll be designing. It will, in the end, it just has to be a poster. So we're very excited for you guys, for your submissions. And yeah, make sure you send them over to us so we can review them. Today, in about 1.5 hours, we'll be doing portfolio reviews, which you can submit on the Adobe Live channel. There will be a link under challenge. You can submit your portfolio link, and then we will be reviewing them. And yeah, so Amanda, what's the goal for today?
The goal for today is to take what we did yesterday and so take those elements and actually move it into After Effects. So we're going to be preparing the files for that so you guys can take this skill from today and move it forward into your own work. And we're going to be adding motion to the poster that we created yesterday.
Wow, I'm super excited about this.
Yes.
This is looking awesome already. Oh, I see you did something to the background colors.
Yes, I just, I can't decide what color I want the background to be, and I am totally open to your guys' feedback, but also I'm thinking, since I can't make up my mind right now, what you can always do is edit that within After Effects if you're just going to be using a solid color, so we can always do that as well. So what we're going to start with today is preparing the layers to bring into After Effects. So what we're going to do is create a new file, because you can see that I have multiple artboards here, and that's going to mess up my layers. So what I did was I just did Command N, and I have all of my elements here, but we have some more work to do to prepare them for After Effects. So what
Blue
we're going
screen
to
protection
do,
glasses.
yes, I have a prescription too, you guys. It's not all for show. Okay.
I see people from different places over here. Hi from Denmark. Hello from Mexico. Daniela. Hi, Daniela.
I see some familiar names from yesterday. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Welcome back.
Okay, so like I mentioned yesterday, if you have more than 2 layers, you probably want to name them, especially since we're going to be bringing them into After Effects. So I use BR for background a lot. That's just personally what I do. You can type out background if you'd like. This one, why don't we just call it type? And then orb. So the thing here is we're not just going to be animating this all as one piece. That would look kind of strange. So what we need to do is separate this into 3 layers. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. So always keep that in mind, whatever you're creating. If you want something to move individually, you're going to need it to be on its own layer. Otherwise, it's going to import into After Effects as a group, and you may not want that. So actually I do have this group, so we can go to Object, Ungroup, and that's going to allow me to move each one individually. So why don't I just copy this? I'm going to say Command C for the large one. New layer, so remember this little page turn icon here, press that, Command V. So then I can go back and delete the other one. And one thing too, it's going to slightly alter the placing of my elements. So I'm not really too worried about it since it's a pretty simple layout here. But if you are, you could always take a screenshot or copy your artboard just so you have it for reference.
Noor's saying that we are literally orange is the new black.
Oh, we're like Halloween.
Yeah. There we go.
My mom tells me to wear more colors, but I just can't. Okay.
Black is always classic.
Yes. Okay. Copy. So then I can just delete it from this layer. New layer. Command V. So then you can just check to make sure everything's on its own. Yep. So we're gonna call this one small. Just something, these are really just for you to know what is what, so whatever helps you remember. Medium. And then this is the large orb, if that makes sense.
Yep. Totally makes sense.
Great. Okay. So we can go ahead and align these the way that we want them using my align panel. And this just centered the type. Go back to my layers. So I have my background here, my type, and then if I'm worried about them moving while I am editing the rest of the poster, I can go ahead and lock them. So I believe that's Command 2. No,
Paste in place, what was the command for that?
Command V.
Dylan, Command V is paste in place.
Command 2 is lock, yeah. So the shortcut for locking is Command 2 if you're on a Mac.
And to unlock it?
That's a long shortcut, so I always go unlock all. That's the shortcut right there. Okay.
I think you can go Command Alt and 2.
Yes.
As far as I know.
Just adding the Alt there. It's too much for my fingers to handle sometimes. Okay, so if you see now that these two are showing up behind my main circle, so I'm going to go ahead and move those layers forward. So I have my large circle here. I'm going to go ahead and put that underneath.
The layers you have to imagine like layers of paper. So basically you place one object on each layer, and if you move the layers, they move forward or backward.
Yes, I like that metaphor.
When I was in school, it was very difficult to understand with the layers. Like sometimes things disappeared and I was like, where is it? I just moved it down the layers. Yep.
I'm glad you figured that out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can always check. Let's go through each one. Background, we got it here. Type, got it here.
By the way, people are suggesting the black background.
Yeah, you guys, I'm not feeling this background. We're gonna revisit it for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a common thing that as designers we change our mind a lot, and also it's just a natural part of the process that it takes quite a few tries to get something looking right.
Yep.
So for me, this is not working honestly right now. That's okay. We're gonna figure it out. I actually, when I was trying this out, I don't think this pink is working super well, but I like how the bright color is making this pop. So if you see the depth of the purple is kind of getting lost here, but it does create a sense of depth having a dark background. And on the light, the reason I changed this from what we did yesterday, this is so light it almost looks like white to me. Mm-hmm. So if we're not even paying attention to this type, I just feel like this isn't really helping complement these bubbles that we spent so long creating.
Mm. Yeah, you're right. There's not a big contrast.
So it's something as simple as a solid color that you choose is really going to change the look of what you're creating. So it actually is kind of, it's a big deal, you guys.
Yeah, now that I look at it, if you look at the black background, it kind of takes away from the dark purple.
Yes.
So the shape kind of, gets lost in this black color. If you look at the white, the bright parts of the bubbles get lost. And now if we find something that's more colorful and kind of sticks out from all the colors that we've been using in the bubbles, it brings the bubbles up and, makes them pop more.
I'm really liking, if I had to choose one, I'd choose this pink right now, but I think we're going to end up doing some sort of variation of this in After Effects. So why don't I bring that in as another layer just so I have it.
Destiny's saying these look great.
Thanks Destiny.
Make sure if you are interested, if you were not here yesterday, check out the past session from yesterday where Amanda was creating the gradients with Gradient Mesh. It's a really cool tool. You should check it out.
Okay, so now obviously the type's not working, but we could change that as well. So I'm going to say BR2. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now we are going to select all of our layers and make sure you save this. So we already saved something called 43, so why don't we say 43, 1.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you have it. Okay.
And the colors we can change in After Effects as well, right?
So something like a solid color you can. Something like this you
can't.
cannot.
Okay, so we still have the flexibility with the background later on that we can change the color while experimenting with the motion, right?
Right.
Awesome. And even in the type, we can also change the color, correct?
We should be able to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just to give you guys a little context on my After Effects skills, I'm still learning as well. I had one class in college, and since then I've kind of fallen in love with it and taken the liberty of watching tutorials myself. So I'm no expert. If you guys have tips for us, let us know.
And it's always a million ways to do things. Like, it's not the only way to create a gradient. There's a million other ways where you can, for example, place shapes next to each other and blur them out. You can do that way. You can also just create a gradient inside a form, a circle or a square, and then just move around the dots with a gradient tool.
Okay, so what we're going to do, everything should be okay for After Effects, but something I've done before that has worked well is on your Layers panel, clicking this right button here and saying Release to Layers Sequence. So that usually creates everything on its own layer if everything was on one layer. So say you had a really complicated design that you either accidentally or purposely created all in one layer, you can then use that to release everything onto its own layer. So that's going to release each shape individually.
That is very helpful. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, so Command Z, I'm going to undo that, hopefully. Just kidding. I don't think it might not let me, but let me just show you what I did. So I went to my Layers panel, these 3 bars here, Release to Layers Sequence.
So then every object is on its own layer.
Right, but if you guys saw, I took the time to do that already myself.
Yeah. But that's a very helpful tool, I think, because sometimes we don't even notice how we create things on just one layer, and then we have a bunch of objects, and we're like, oh, now I have to create 30 layers from each single object.
And for me, I'm just going to undo layer options. Let's see. Let me see if it'll even let me. Sometimes it won't let you undo stuff like that. We'll see.
Sarah is saying designers are problem solvers. She doesn't think that it helps for us to be closed off to exploration during the design process. I completely agree.
Yes. You have to be open to the possibilities.
Yeah. The process is all in design.
Yes.
Sean is saying dope tip right there. Always need layer help.
Don't we all, Sean?
Yeah, we all need layer help.
All right, so I'm just going to go for it and try to bring this into After Effects. Let's see what happens. So you're going to go in, open up After Effects. You want to make sure you have it downloaded.
Yep.
And I wanted to wait to do anything here just so you guys know what it looks like when you open it up. There's going to be this front window and then this back window.
So the front window helps us creating a new document, right?
Yes. So new project. You're just going to go ahead and click this. And you're going to press here, new composition. So it's going to bring up this window. So kind of once you know how to use one Adobe program, you're going to find similarities in the next one. So it's going to make it easier for you. Just don't get overwhelmed by all the specs. Just kind of look at if you don't understand what some of this means, just choose what's really important here. So in this case, it's going to be the width and the height of the canvas that we're creating. So you want to keep that consistent with what you designed already, right? Otherwise, it's going to mess up your ratios. So I believe we said the Instagram specs are 1080 by 1350.
Corey's saying, "Gorgy Mandy."
Corey, oh, thank you so much for being here again.
Yeah.
He was there for my birthday last night. It was a lot of fun.
Corey is a super cool graphic designer here in San Francisco as well.
Yes, he's working at the Stanford Business School right now, doing some cool stuff.
Check him out.
Okay, 1080, 1350, square pixels. Who knows what that means? Just kidding. But seriously, we'll leave it there. Frame rate, we'll leave that. And then the other important part of this is duration. So we're going to edit the timeline of your video. So for something like this, I doubt we will need more than 10 seconds, but maybe 5. So we can go ahead and put 5 right now. 0, 5.
5 seconds.
Yes.
Sharp and crisp. Short and crisp.
Short and crispy. Background color, you can edit that. For now, why don't we just leave it black? Okay.
Hi, Danessa.
Hello. So now this looks familiar, right? It's not so scary. And then what's down here? Let me go ahead and make this full screen. View. File. How do I make this?
Can you just press, if you go away, the plus?
There we go, plus. So if you guys ever want to make it full screen, just press this plus. Still having my coffee, you guys. Okay.
Hi from France. Fred, hi. Hi from SF. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Teach us some French words.
Yes, so Dylan asked if 1080 by 1350 is Instagram standard for which graphic, story, or feed post. Oh, that's a feed post, Dylan, so it's for the larger feed post, not the square. When you zoom out, and it gives you that larger space. Okay. Yeah, for story, it's not going to be the correct dimensions. You'll have to look that up. But what I do is I usually post my poster in my story, and you know how you can zoom it in to make a frame, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
So you can just create your graphic smaller.
Just zoom it out, and then the whole poster will be on the stories.
And then you can add some type there. It gives you some space to add some type or stickers.
Or stickers.
Okay.
A bunch of cool emojis.
Yes. And you know what I forgot, you guys? Something that's going to make my life a lot easier is adding in my template into After Effects. So that way I don't have to add it in later. Because we're actually going to be rendering this out in After Effects. So I need my template, right? So I need to go back to Photoshop and add back my type. And for right now, why don't we just delete these other ones? Because remember yesterday we were just messing around with the grain and whatnot. So I'm just going to command click all of these and delete them. Oh, it's not going to let me delete.
Maybe they're locked.
So yeah, it won't let you delete something if it's locked, by the way. So command slash delete. Okay, so all I really need right now is my type. Hopefully it will let me just do a transparent background, maybe as a PNG, and we can bring that in. So let's make sure everything is filled out.
Chat and win in 10 minutes. You can win some super cool Sticker Mule stickers. So stay tuned. Oh, do you have the background here already? Or is it just
I just added it back so I can see what I'm doing.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
Sometimes I forget what my own template looks
Fred
like.
is asking what we want to learn in French.
I would like to learn...
Je ne sais pas.
What does that mean?
I think it means I don't know. Okay, tell us, how do you say, how are you in French?
I only know Spanish. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo se va? ¿Cómo se va? Yeah, there we go. Oh, ¿cómo se va is also in French. That is awesome.
I know how to say about 3 things in Chinese. I'm too embarrassed
Ni hao.
I'm too embarrassed.
Any Chinese people here? Come on.
One time I tried to speak Chinese to my Uber driver who was speaking Chinese, and he wouldn't speak to me because maybe my accent was too embarrassing.
It's weird sometimes when you don't expect someone to speak in your language, you don't really understand what they're saying because
their accent is so off.
Yeah, their accent is off, and then you're not listening to them in that language. You're listening to them in English or, something that you're used to listen to.
You know so many languages. You're smart.
Five languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I mix them up too. It's dangerous to know many languages.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the problem right now, I've never encountered this before because I've always been sure of my background color before. Right now, we don't know what we're going to do with the background, which actually is a problem because we need our type to show up on the background. So I would say for right now, in the interest of time, we should probably just decide on a background color, and if it's really not working, we can change it later. Because you do want your type to contrast the background that you choose. Mm-hmm. So why don't we go ahead and go back in that pink family that we thought was working the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working with the change type, but we're going to just roll with it right now.
Roll with it. Just roll with it.
Yeah. Command V, the hex code. Option delete.
Sometimes as a designer you feel like you're walking blind through like space.
That's what I feel like with this poster right now.
And then you have to go to some place where you feel the best. So that's how it is. It's a bit scary, but then you might actually reach that place.
I kind of like this.
Yeah, this color is interesting. I think this deep pinkish purple is a very intense color that, for example, me, I connected with like love and intense feelings. I don't know, what about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling the love.
Oh yeah, by the way, we noticed why we didn't find any lyrics to the song Let's Heal That because it doesn't have any lyrics.
You guys, I was nervous about being here, and I forgot that the song doesn't have lyrics like most of the songs
didn't even know.
Lyrics. I was like, yes, the lyrics.
And we were surprised.
I noticed it later, and I was like, that's really embarrassing.
Well, now we don't have any lyrics. We're just gonna go with the flow.
If you guys want more texture in your posters, maybe choose a song that has lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Dirk is here. Hi, Dirk. Guten Tag from Pacifica.
Jack, gosh, so supportive. You guys are cool.
Super cool. Yeah, I really enjoy this international communication.
All right, so what we're gonna do is, why don't we just export this as a PNG? And PNGs are usually going to be higher quality than JPEG if you're staying digital. So why don't we just go to File, Export, Quick Export as PNG. You can set your shortcut there. So if you want to if you use something often, like I use PNG often, I just use that shortcut, and you can go into your preferences in Adobe Photoshop and edit that if you prefer something else. Okay, 43.png desktop. Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Command H, hide, just kidding. Hide Photoshop. Sometimes the shortcuts don't work if you have a bunch of stuff open. Hide Illustrator again. Okay, so now we need to bring in our background, which is going to be that PNG actually. So let's see how this works out. File, import, file. Desktop, 43.png. So that's what we just saved. Do you guys see that? Okay. So you're going to press open.
Open.
Then in After Effects, you might be like, where are my assets?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening right now? Oh, Rachel's saying, hey Jack, my coworkers have caught me watching and sometimes they come hang out too. Rachel, thanks.
Awesome.
Okay. So you're going to drag it down if you don't know what happened to your asset. Boom, it's right there.
Yay.
And it's the correct size. Look at that. So really taking the time to create things that are the correct size saves you so much time. Okay, so just like in the other programs, we're going to lock this. So see the eyeball here, on and off, and then we can lock it. All right, so now we have our background. There's a lot of different ways to do that. You could just create it in After Effects, and if I were to create, say, like a full series of just motion posters, I would definitely create that within After Effects. So you can definitely set type. If you guys think of like movie titles and things that are more complex with typography that's moving, that is what After Effects is what people use a lot for that. So there's a lot you can do, but just for the sake of time today, I created a PNG. It's kind of like a shortcut for that process.
Zoe is asking for my portfolio website. Okay, Zoe, so it's be.net/Masalska Design. Just recently, I got to change my slash, my name.
Yes, I changed my slash recently too.
Slash.
Keep it consistent. Okay, so things are always changing within your workflow, right? So we kind of took the time within Illustrator. We're back in Illustrator now. Sorry to be jumping around, you guys, but it's the reality of the process. We had our backgrounds here, but now I kind of just want to delete them because we already created it in Photoshop and brought it into After Effects. So I'm just going to delete these. Could always bring it back later. Okay, so we have everything on its own layer. Command save just to make sure it's saved again. Now's the big move, you guys. Hide Illustrator, back in After Effects, File, Import, File. You're going to select the Illustrator file that you just worked on. I believe it's 43.1. Yep.
There we go.
Okay. Major key here. If you're not paying attention, please pay attention now. This is a major key. Composition, retain layer sizes. Okay? If you don't click this, it's going to bring everything in as one layer. So all of the work that you just did is not going to matter, and you're going to be very confused about why it's not working. So there's different purposes for each of these, right? But for today's purposes, composition, retain layer sizes. Then open. Okay. So here's the composition, and then here's the layers.
1 minute and 40 seconds until chat and win.
Oh.
Just so you know.
I love chat and win.
We get to make some noise. Awesome. And there are our Illustrator layers. Right?
Yes. Woo.
Yes.
It worked, you guys.
Woo!
Feel
There we
accomplished
go.
right now.
And now we have the different objects on a different layer. Means we are able to move the layers that we had in Illustrator, also in After Effects, right?
Yes, and it actually did move my stuff around. There's a way that you can do it where it doesn't move your stuff around, but I honestly forget a lot of the time. So because this is so simple and I just literally need to move these two, I'm just going to do that. So this was around here, this was around here.
Javier is saying, woo!
Woo! Exciting!
Woo, back!
Yeah, and now this change, the type here is really, really, really not working for me. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off for right now. It's like I can breathe.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's all about you, Amanda. It's your feelings that we want to express in this poster.
Thank you. Yeah, so for me, we could go ahead and change the colors of the type, but I've thought about it some more since yesterday, and I really feel that the type is not necessary for this composition. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said yesterday, there's no right or wrong way to do things, but for right now, we're just going to leave it out.
Okay, let's take a quick break to chat and win, and we have some fireworks.
Woo.
And you guys can win 100 stickers, 3x3 die cut from Sticker Mule. And all you have to do is just type any comment in the chat box. Just type anything, any word to be considered to win those stickers.
Sarah.
So make sure you type like that cat from the meme.
Sarah's getting after it. She's counting.
Yay! Woo-hoo. type, tap, 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 tap. Woo! And who is the winner?
Someone said eggs. Are you eating eggs?
Eggs. I love eggs.
Very nutrient
Protein.
dense. Nutrient dense.
So, type away, guys. Type away.
Eggs.
Breakfast. Yeah. Breakfast.
Corey
Who loves
says,
eggs?
I want to win. I want to win.
Win, Corey. Come on.
Corey, you're not trying hard enough.
Come on. Type, 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 type. Hey. Keep it going. Keep them coming.
Corey, hi. Hi.
Hi, 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 hi. Come on, come on. I love stickers. Yay, stickers. And the winner is Dylan Dunaway. Congratulations, Dylan. And for everybody else who didn't win, you have the chance to get some super cool stickers if you use Adobe the slash Adobe Life 19. So stickermule.com/Adobe Life 19. And there you can get 10 die cut stickers for only $1. So that's pretty cool as well.
Woo. Sticker it up. Okay. Something that is also important is rasterizing your layers. So that is a complicated way of saying your assets might get fuzzy or pixelated if you don't press this little button here. So just go through all your layers and press this button. It's that simple. Okay?
Press that button.
Just press the button.
Press the button.
All right. So now we
Okay,
have our
so-
timeline. Sorry.
Sorry, so the timeline basically just shows the movement, right, of the...
So press spacebar and it will play your video. Do you guys
Uh-huh.
see this intense movement right now?
And it will play it only the amount of time that we said in the beginning, right? So 5 seconds?
Yes.
Or... Okay, awesome.
So,
So we have this timeline of 5 seconds, huh?
right, and when you're creating... oh my gosh, Sean Van Ghosting. Hi, Sean. Dang.
Hi,
Wow,
Sean.
I haven't
Welcome.
seen him in forever. I used to work with him. Thank you. Gosh. Okay, so in the beginning, thank you.
That you wanted to drink something.
5 seconds seems like a short amount of time, but it's actually kind of a long time. So once you're like watching this movement here, you're kind of already bored, right?
Yeah, movie makers will tell you 5 seconds is a lot.
We're millennials. Our attention span can't even handle this 5 seconds right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a very long time. If you look at it, like so many things can happen in those 5 seconds, right?
And if you're thinking about, I'm creating this for Instagram primarily, right? So if people are...
Instagram. If
Corey's
people
salty
have,
that he didn't win.
Aw.
Next time,
Corey,
Corey.
next time, yeah. So if the attention of a regular person is 21 seconds, then the attention span of an Instagrammer is probably 5 seconds.
Yeah, like a
Right?
goldfish because of her shirt is orange. She's like the attention
I'm the
span.
goldfish
Yeah.
today.
So goldfish have very short attention spans.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's create for the goldfish.
Yes. Okay. So why don't we start? If the largest orb is the first in the hierarchy. So we were talking about hierarchy yesterday. Your eye usually goes to the largest thing on the screen. Why don't we start with that? So if you see this little
Center spot.
center spot here,
spot.
it's representing the anchor point of the layer. So that's actually perfect that it's in the middle. If I wanted to move that, I could, and we might do that later.
Which means, so if I set the anchor point to the side, whenever I turn the object, it will turn around the anchor point.
Right, so if you did want to change that, you can press pan behind anchor point tool, which is Y. So shortcut for that is Y. Why don't I go ahead and try that? You can move it around. And what that's
Okay.
going to do right now, it doesn't seem significant, but when I alter the size of this orb, it's going to move it from that anchor point, if that makes sense. So for right now, I know this is kind of a lot to take in. I'm just going to leave it in the middle. So you're going to open up this, and the first thing I want to do is mess with the scale. So you're going to do shortcut S. Okay, so that brings up this word scale right here. And the way that you create any change in After Effects is you need to set keyframes. So it's almost like setting a pacer for your asset that's moving. So if you see this little stopwatch here, I need to press this. So that's almost creating like a mark of where I want this to be. So it's always good to set that if you have it somewhere that you're going to move in the beginning, just so you can always come back to that. And it gives you the points here. So if you see it's at 100, 100. And it's always going to be at 100 wherever it's placed already. And then you're going to be moving from that point. So when you're scaling something, it's going to keep the proportions as long as this is dragged here. So see, it's going to move both at the same time. Woo! So it's that easy, you guys. So by dragging, so I'm going to Command Z, undo that. By dragging this blue line here,
you're
traveling in time, you guys.
You're traveling in time, exactly. The past, the future, and the now is moving.
Have you guys seen Donnie Darko? I watched that recently.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie. I love it.
Yeah, I had to watch a YouTube like synopsis of actually explaining what that movie's about, because I feel like part of the greatness of it is you don't know what is going on.
Yeah.
But the YouTube synopsis really helps. Yeah.
Okay, anyway. So the now is the blue line. That's exactly the point where what shows that shows the image that we have right now. Means later on when we have some changes, when you move the now, you will see how the change is moving, right?
Yes. So why don't we go ahead and do that? So we'll go to 1 second. So right now, say I want to make this become smaller. You're going to make sure that the stopwatch is highlighted in blue. That means you're active here. If you're not, it's not going to make a change. So then we can go ahead and drag this. If you have an idea, say I want it to be 50%, you can go ahead and type that in, and it will do it for you. Or you can play with dragging it, and that way you can just see it in real time. Why don't we unsee these other two, because it's really distracting. And I don't have a plan for this right now, you guys. I have like kind of an idea in my head of what I want this to look like, but I don't have like a for sure prescription. And that's okay if you only have 3 elements, but if you have a lot going on or something more complex, I would definitely storyboard it out of what you want to happen, and maybe even create those frames within Illustrator. But we don't need to get into that. So, woo!
It takes a lot of planning. Ooh, there's some movement.
It's moving.
Great.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we're not going to do anything too crazy today, but learning how to add changes just within scale is a really good place to start.
Yeah, I agree.
And something that helps your work not look so novice, I guess you could say, is highlighting your keyframes and adding something that's called Easy Ease. And what that's going to do is smooth out the transition of the movement. So if you see right now, it's very blunt going from A to B. We can call this A, B. It's just getting smaller, right? So what we can do is right-click, Keyframe Assistant.
Basically, ease it out.
Easy Ease. So it's going to make your keyframes look like a little hourglass. And let's watch the difference here. So it's almost like the orb is slowing down as it's getting smaller, and that's creating more smoothness in your movement. Let's check out the comments. What do you guys, if you guys have any comments?
They love Donnie Darko.
Yes. I just thought it was really interesting. Something that the synopsis says, brought up, is that it's like celebrating this underdog, and the whole time you don't even know really if his psychological troubles are real or if they're like imagined by the viewer.
Yeah.
But it's creating Donnie as this hero who's an unexpected hero, and I think that's really cool. Okay.
Awesome.
So okay, it's working-ish now. So now we have to think about, okay, if this is going to get smaller, what are the other bubbles going to do, and when are they going to come in? Right? So if our theme is change, let's think about this. What do you guys think? We can start by bringing one back in.
Yeah, let's go one by one.
Okay.
And see what they're gonna do.
So what I have in mind is each circle is gonna move on its own, but then somehow kind of come together in synchrony. Because if we're talking about change, things are kind of crazy in the beginning, but then maybe they smooth out as you get used to it or continue to grow, right? Okay.
I mean, anything that moves, any kind of motion can represent change. So we have really so many possibilities.
Right. It's really just your interpretation of what you're doing.
Exactly.
So I put my medium one here. Why don't we go with that? So again, we're going to now click S here. That's going to bring up the scale. And so now we need to make sure we click this stopwatch. And then you can go ahead and line it up with your other keyframe if you want. We can always move it later. Add another one. Why don't we do 50% as well? Okay, so just press enter. And then remember, what do we do? Add easy ease. Right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. Okay, let's play it. What's gonna happen?
Ease.
Woo.
Zooming out. Cool. Awesome.
I like it.
It's kind of like when you're moving in space.
Ooh, I kind of feel like now that we see two moving together, it's almost reminding me of like a heartbeat. So now I'm thinking if they get smaller, now it needs to get bigger again, right?
Yeah, like a pulsing.
Yes, I'm kind of liking that idea. So that's why it's good to sometimes not have too much of a direction when you have simple elements, because you can just play with it and see what you like. Okay, so then I can go to my small one, S for scale, with the stopwatch, go to 50%. And by the way, guys, if I'm doing the same thing to all three, you could do it all at the same time and save yourself time. But I think it's good to go over it multiple times today.
Just to experiment as well. We kind of want to stay in this experimental phase, right?
Yes. Keyframe assistant, easy ease. Oh, I don't even have the eyeball on. Wow. Okay. Woo.
Zooming out. Leaving the planet Earth.
And once you have some movement, you can always edit it more later. It's good to just get something going on in your timeline here. That way you can edit it more easily. Okay.
Awesome.
And we don't just have the opportunity to change scale. We have a lot of different aspects that we can change here. We can change position, and that's something we might do. We'll see. Okay. So now, I think I mentioned I want it to come back out, right? So why don't we go to the 2 just to keep it consistent. Add another keyframe for all of them. Okay. So now if you see, the way you can always see what's going on is by looking at the numbers in the blue here. So you see they're at 50% of what we had in the beginning. If you go here, they're staying at 50% because I didn't change that value. So to change that value all at once, I can highlight these and go ahead and click 100. Yep, and it changed all of them back.
Awesome. Super cool.
Let's check it out. And it added the easy ease as well.
Wow, I think After Effects sometimes looks very intimidating, but as soon as you kind of start doing, you get to see all the possibilities of it, and it kind of stops being so intimidating.
Yes, totally.
It's amazing. And by the way, 45 minutes left for the portfolio submission deadline. We'd love to see your portfolios and give you some feedback on how you maybe can build a better portfolio. So submit your links, and then we'll find 2 people, I think, that we're going to look through the portfolios for.
Woo.
Wow.
It's kind of starting to look a little bit cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
I would almost be satisfied if it did that like 3 more times within the 5 seconds. I'm trying to think about, though, do we want it to move in position or not? I'm kind of
I think this is super cool because on Instagram, the video will repeat over and over again. So the pulsing will happen anyway.
Yep. It's true. You just have to think about the pacing that you want. So we're going to be creating a GIF. from this. And if you guys know that, it's like a repeating, looping JPEG almost. It's not a JPEG, it's a GIF, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And actually on Instagram, something to keep in mind is actually when you upload to Instagram, it needs to be a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So GIFs are not an accepted format in Instagram.
For the posts, right?
It's kind of surprising. I feel like they'll have to change that at some point. But yeah, so for right now it's MP4 or movie file, and that's what we can export really easily in After Effects.
Awesome. Angela is saying, I'm definitely relearning here. Good refresher course.
Oh, awesome.
And also people have been asking how you actually started learning After Effects. What's like, what made you learn, and how did you start?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I went to Academy of Art here in San Francisco. It's a art-focused college, and I studied graphic design. And within that, we had a class that focused on motion graphics, and it was a really good introduction to Adobe After Effects. But from there, and if you guys can relate, sometimes in classes things move fast and you have so many other classes, you can't really put your all into it. So I remember just kind of learning similar to what I'm learning today, but actually it was kind of presented in more of a complex way that I didn't really absorb too much of it at the time. So it really took me going in later on my own and learning that way. So that's what you guys are doing here. So you guys are awesome.
Yeah, and I think we have a bunch of tutorials. If you check out the YouTube channel or on Behance, we have a bunch of After Effects use there. So you'll definitely be able to learn something from there.
Yes, okay. So yeah, I don't think I really want to move the position today. I'm really liking the way that this is looking, but I do think it's happening a little bit too slow. So I think for the purpose of this video, I want it to happen again. And I think it'll be good to show you guys how we can do that. So let's think about the timeline that we have. So if we're at 2 seconds.
Aiko is suggesting 1 slow pulse followed with 2 quick pulses.
Ooh, I like that idea.
And a little pause in between, maybe.
Oh. Yeah, so you can add so much character just within movement of simple elements, right?
To me, it's like a living object now.
Yeah.
When you were speaking about your After Effects learning experience, and I was still so focused on this motion in the background, it really kind of catches you. And I think it's getting more and more popular, especially in social media, to use motion design, which I think is a great tool for you to learn. Yeah,
and to me, metaphorically, this almost is like if we have change is bam right there, the large part, you're almost like scared of it sometimes, but then you're coming forward full force and taking control of the situation.
True, makes sense.
Yeah. So why don't we could try adding a quicker one and just see what it looks like.
Or maybe one that doesn't go all the way, or maybe like 25% instead of 50.
Right. Okay, so let's see what we're doing here. We're going from 100 to 50 to 100. Then we want to keep the pacing, or do we not want to keep the pacing? It's going to be quicker. So let's go somewhere in between 2 and 3. So it's going to be...
like half the distance maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be about here. And then let's try 25%. Okay. 25 for all of them. See how easy that is? It changes all of them. So if this is happening quick and they're getting that small, it might be really kind of crazy looking. So let's see. We can always edit it later. 3. So I'm going to go to 3. And we're going to go back to 100. Whoa. Or we could go to 50. How about that? Because that's a lot. So we'll be at 100, 25, 50. Then I could go back to 25. I'm just getting crazy here, you guys.
Can you replay it again so we can see what's happening?
Yes, 25. Let's just see what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
They're getting zoomed out a lot. So maybe from the first 100, then we can go 25% down and then 25% up again. You know what I mean?
Can you repeat that, my beautiful host?
So we go from 100% to 50% to 100%, right?
Yes.
And then if we go to 75% and then back to 100%.
So she's saying, Julia's suggesting that we make the change in scale not so drastic.
Yeah.
So right now it's really not flowing at all.
Yeah.
If we were to go in this direction, I would almost start with them really small and then have them grow.
Oh, yeah.
That's also a potential, but
Yeah.
let's try 75 instead of 25.
Let's see.
25, 50, 25. So let's change where we have 25 to 75. So just go ahead and highlight the keyframes that you want to edit. Go here, 75, enter. Then we had 50 here, back to 75. Are you guys really confused, or are you kind of clear?
Well,
Let
I'm
us
learning
know.
right now.
Let us know.
I'm not
Right.
not confused. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, if you guys have questions or anything, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Write your questions, and we'll try our best to show you again. Or if you want something repeated real quick, no problem at all. All right.
Yeah, so I think sometimes just seeing a new interface is just really overwhelming.
Especially if you have a timeline. Like if I imagine myself working with Illustrator, it's never like a timeline. It's always layers, right? So it's kind of like a different feel to it.
Right, you guys. And I just realized I did something very bad, and I did not save my work. So you always want to, especially if you're working on a video, imagine if your computer just freezes or something and you lose all
or
your
the
hard
battery
work.
is empty and just shuts down.
So just like all the other Adobe programs, Command S, it brings up this little window for you. So 43 is the week. Save.
Yay.
It's that easy. So just make sure you save it.
Yeah. And then you can also, I think, pick in the settings that it auto-saves every 5 to 10 minutes. I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah, so check it out.
Ooh. Okay.
My host had a good idea. I think it's working a lot better. So it's almost like it's ending a little bit smaller that you don't even realize it as much.
Yeah.
So now if we do keep this, we have to think about what we want to do if we want to get it back to 100%, which I think we do.
Yeah, for sure. I think so, yeah.
Maybe if I just change the last keyframe to 100 rather than 75.
Yeah. That would be cool too.
Because then it's going 75 here in the middle.
I think what we're trying to do here kind of like to imitate the pulse of the heart. Because I think what's happening is you have one big pulse, like one big change and two small changes, like tuk, 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 tuk. Or no, never mind. Is it two heartbeats that are... So one heartbeat is kind of... Oh, yeah.
I just feel like that's like the stereotypical heartbeat sound.
Okay, anyway, I think it still reminds you, even though it's not like the perfect imitation of the heartbeat, I think it still reminds you kind of this pulsation in nature. It's cool.
Okay, let's just watch it for a little.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm liking the ending at this point.
Yeah, when it
like
gets very small, right?
I feel like the change isn't drastic enough to when it comes back to 100, you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Right?
Doom, doom, doom.
I kind of liked it better when we had this at 75.
Yeah, okay.
Seven, 5. So what
But then there is like a cut between the 100%.
So when we're saving a movie on Instagram, it loops it for you. So it's almost like it were to be a GIF. So the only thing to keep in mind is that the end of your video is going to transition smoothly to the beginning of your video. Otherwise, you're going to get that jump. That's not very cute. Right?
Yeah. Francisco is saying something cool I'd like to do, especially for Insta posts, is to give my animations an endless loop animation.
Yeah.
Which Instagram does for you automatically. So for example, when you look through your feed and you watch videos, they'll repeat over and over again. So it automatically creates an endless loop for you.
Okay. Yeah, so what I did was I just added keyframes to the end that bring it back to 100. So now it's growing really slowly, but it is transitioning smoothly. So I'm not saying this is working totally well yet, but
I like the small, the very
slow.
smooth and slow movement. Yeah.
So you guys, adding the easy ease here is really making this work, in my opinion.
For sure.
If you didn't have that easy ease, it would be very straightforward and jumpy.
It would not be natural, maybe. I think this easy ease kind of gives it like a natural flow curve.
Yes.
Like an exponential, like kind of like an ease out. Mm-hmm.
Woo.
I like that. Wow.
I kind of like it.
Oh yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
No, I think it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can play with the position of the bubbles.
We can, yes. We could always delete it later because honestly, I like how it is right now.
Yeah.
I would just leave it personally.
Mm-hmm.
But I can show you guys how to add movement in position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be cool.
So why don't we Command S, make sure I save it.
And also maybe we can try like doing the turns. Is that possible?
Like rotate?
Yeah, like rotate.
Yeah, we could do that as well.
Should we maybe save a version of this? And then we can still save the other versions.
That's a great idea.
Whenever we make changes.
Yes, that's what I was going to suggest. So if you have a project, I always recommend saving out multiple versions just because you can kind of lose what you had before sometimes. So you want to go ahead and Command S to save what you have, and then File, Save As, save a copy. So again, File, Save As, save a copy. And why don't we just say 43.1. 0.1. Okay, and you can just continue going all the way to 0.9 if you want. Okay, so right now we have the scale open, so why don't we select these layers and say P. So that's going to bring up position. So again, S for scale, S, P.
P for position.
Yes.
Means the position in the...
And Julia, when I'm showing them position, would you like me to delete the keyframes I have for scale and just focus on position? Or would you like them to be moving in scale while we edit the position?
Well, I guess we can try the position without the scale.
It might be a little bit much going on.
Did you save this one already?
I saved the previous one.
Okay, cool. So in the end, maybe we can have like multiple versions that we can decide from which ones we like better or something like that.
Yeah, sounds good.
For us.
So let's just delete these keyframes. Delete. So now there's nothing happening, right? Okay. So you're going to go back and press P for position. So just like we did with scale, you want to press the stopwatch button, and that's going to allow you to edit the position. And you want to make sure you mark. See, now the coordinates are more complicated because we're not just playing with scale, it's position. So these are going to be X and Y coordinates. If you see if I drag this, it's moving it side to side. Don't want to do that, Command Z. This is going to be up and down. Okay, Command Z. So we're obviously going to be moving one at a time rather than all of them together. So position small. Why don't we start with the large one since that's first in the hierarchy? Okay. So again, we have it marked where we like it. Let's go ahead and go to 1. So why don't we say this comes in from the top?
Okay.
Okay. So let's see what happens. Or no, it's leaving. Whoops. Don't go away. So that's something to think about is if these are the coordinates that I like, then I want it to move there, not move off, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a way that you guys do this, but I personally just would copy these coordinates and save them for myself to add the keyframe later. Or, no, just kidding. That's way too complicated. Just make a keyframe, okay? I do that sometimes if something is more complicated, but you can just add another keyframe, and then we can move the first keyframe. So if this makes sense, now I have marked where I like it here at 20,
Yeah. So at 20, it will be in this position.
20,
but
and
then,
this, by the way, F, it means 20 frames. So that's the frame rate. Don't really pay attention. But okay, anyway.
so at that position, the bubble will be exactly in the center, right? So you
Yes.
marked it in the center. But now you can move the bubble. You can go to the beginning and move the bubble somewhere else. So it will be moving to the key position, right?
Right. And just make sure that only your first one is selected. Otherwise, you're going to be editing both. So let's go ahead and move this off.
Yeah, I think a good thing is to blend them all, to take them all, make them all invisible. So you can really concentrate on this one object, correct?
Correct. And say I want it just to move right from the left side, and I want it to be a straight line, hold shift. So that snaps it, do you see?
And you can also add multiple variables, right? So you can like decrease it in size and move it to the key point at the same time.
Right. And that's what's really going to start to give life to your animations.
Yeah.
I will say adding position changes is a lot more difficult than just scale to make it look good. So if you just have things moving just from A to B, yeah, maybe that works for this simple object, but it's very direct, and if you just have multiple assets moving, just stopping, it gets very choppy. So this is where it just takes practice to add some smoothness to your work.
Yeah, and I think the more variables you have, so for example, okay, we play with the transparency. We can play with the transparency. We can play with the size. We can play with the position at the same time. It will give this crazy complex effect. We can even create like curves, how the object will be moving. So this all just adds complexity to the animation.
Yes.
We want to keep it simple for now, for you guys to have an easy understanding.
And say, whoa, you can do crazy
Yeah.
stuff like this also.
This can be a variation to
Not really
variable.
recommending it, but there's just a lot. So see,
And this is how you make the curves, right?
yeah.
The curve
so
of the
this
movement.
is called a Bezier curve, I believe, where you're grabbing this handle here.
Can we see how it looks when you
Yeah.
move it?
So say I wanted to do like a little bunny hop into the frame.
A bunny hop.
Yeah. So check out that bunny hop. Release. Now it's gonna hop in.
Boing. Like a ball. Hop in, hop out.
So something you
That'd
can
be cool.
do here is add easy ease as well. It's gonna help with the smoothness. Keyframe assistant, easy ease, and F9 is the shortcut for that.
Basically, easy ease is just
Ooh.
it's still very quick, but it decreases the speed. I think in the end, it kind of like fades the speed.
Right.
A little
So
bit.
it's kind of complicated because from say 0 to 1 second. Easy ease is not going to change that it's going from 0 to 1 second in that amount of time. It's just changing the rate that the object is moving within that amount of time. So it is slowing down the beginning and the end. But when you have a large bunny hop like this, it makes it look really fast. Because it's speeding up the middle and slowing down either side.
And also, I mean, obviously, there is more surface on this line, right? So the longer the line, the less you have time to make that hop, right?
Right.
Though like you can also have a straight line with the same amount of time. If you have a bunny hop like that, the bubble has less time to make the jump. You know.
Right.
Okay. Sounds a bit
Gosh.
complex, but
I'm so excited to see your guys' portfolios. By the way.
yeah, in 25 minutes. So make sure you submit your links so we can give you some feedback on your work.
Yeah. And I can already tell that I prefer the scale for this particular poster than adding the position, just because to me it's making it mean something else. But we can go ahead and add position changes to the other two bubbles just so you guys can get some more practice on it. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to bring back my eyeball here so now I can see this one. Why don't we see what it looks like? That's actually kind of a lot more interesting having something else on the screen, right?
And it gives a completely different feeling to it.
Yeah. I kind of like it.
I think creativity of creating something like this also has we have to use our tools, right, to really express the feeling that goes into it, right? So I mean, you can show it like this, but you can also show the pulsing, which is way more what we want to kind of represent, a feeling of you know, intense, how do you call that, like intense feelings. I think that bunny hop is kind of more like happy and yeah, careless.
Ooh, Utsav is saying, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. Utsav. He is asking, can you share your Spotify playlist? I actually don't create playlists. I just always save songs that I like, and it creates a liked playlist song. Liked songs playlist.
Yeah. Yeah, I do the same
you guys can
thing.
probably look me up on Spotify. I'll follow you back. But can you set your time marker where you want the keyframe to be, and then move the object on the artboard?
Dylan. Thanks for the question, Dylan.
So Dylan's asking, or is he telling us?
You can set the time marker where you want the keyframe to be, and then move the object to the artboard.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we did for the
That's
first
what we did.
movement.
Yeah, we set the how do you call it?
Keyframe.
Keyframe, and then we move the object to the keyframe. Correct.
And Michelle's asking, can you move your keyframes in the timeline to make the animation slower? Yes, definitely. So say I want to make this first bubble come in much slower. All you're going to do is take this. It's where we set the position. You're just going to move it way forward, and then it's going to go really slow. So that's
actually pretty cool.
It's actually a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Woo.
You have way more time to think, oh, something is moving in this picture. Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't we just mess with the position of the medium bubble? So we can set a keyframe here.
We can kind of make them move like planets, you know?
Yeah.
Like how planets orbit around the sun.
So now we have an extra keyframe to move. Why don't we move it forward? Then I need to edit the position here. What if
Super
it's only
easy.
half off? Can add a little bit of that.
A little bit of curviness.
Keyframe assistant, easy ease.
Oh, that
No,
is
it's
interesting.
It's just doing some weird things over there.
Yeah. And that's exactly the way you can learn how to use the applications from Adobe is while experimenting. I think that's the best way. Just start from the simple and then add more and more different variables.
So what if we moved it more in this direction?
Ah, look, they're coming together in one picture. Oh, they end on different time at a different time, right? What if we make them end on the same time?
Yeah, that would be great. So that's a way you can add smoothness in your work as well, is just simply doing something like that where they stop moving at the same time. Woo.
Wow, yeah, that's cool.
It just kind of adds some, I want to say like calmness to your eye.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Thanks,
I
Sam, for adding my information.
Yeah, check out Amanda. And then maybe we can also check out Amanda's Behance profile. It's Amanda Lee, so behance.net/Amanda Lee.
Yes, still in the process of adding some more projects.
I think that looks super cool though. I've seen it and see, this is how it could look like. This is so exciting, I think, with the motion. I think that looks amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun. These are just a few of my favorite out of the 52, but you can see, as of this week, we'll have 43, thanks to you guys. But yeah, on my Behance, I just added my favorite ones that I've created out of the 42 weeks so far. But you can see all of them on my Instagram.
That is awesome. I really love this effect where it kind of like pulsates.
Yes, I'm excited about this one. And how are you guys feeling about the background? Are you feeling weird about this pink? Let us know.
And we have 19 minutes left for portfolio reviews.
Okay, so why don't we move the third one, just because we can.
Just because we can.
Because we can.
You are the god to these planets. Make them move as you wish.
They really do look like planets now.
Yeah, I agree.
Woo! Now it kind of is weird how it ends when it's not overlapping the larger one. What do you think? It kind of looks like it's just floating there.
Yeah.
Not sure that's a good thing.
It depends on what you want to say, right?
And with this, we're just playing around. We're not really, honestly, trying to say anything right now.
Can it go even slower? Can they move slower?
Yes, So again, all you do to make that happen is select all of your last keyframes, drag them out, and it'll happen slower.
Awesome. Wow.
Woo.
That is super cool. That is awesome.
So yeah, it definitely looks like there was some thought that went into this, even though as you guys saw, we were just kind of messing around. But the fact that they all stop moving at the same point really helps.
And they're connected in the end. They're kind of overlapping, which makes them look like they're one whole object.
Right. And something that I learned from one of my coworkers recently is, I mean, I feel like we all kind of know it, but color is really subjective. And so I can think something looks great and you can hate it, and that's just personal preference. I think there are some rules when it comes to color of what works and what doesn't, but at the end of the day, color is a subjective preference. So when you're creating your own work, just do what you like. Do what you think's working for the concept or your mood.
Yeah, I agree. When I'm working with clients, I usually ask them if there's any colors that they absolutely hate. I think that helps a lot, because then you kind of get to know about what colors you shouldn't be using at all. Because even though you create a great graphic work, they will hate it because of the color.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, psychology of color is a real thing.
Yeah. So make sure you understand what your clients like if you work directly with clients.
Yeah, like there's kind of subconscious feelings that we have about colors that maybe we don't even understand. If you read a little bit about the psychology of color, there's a ton of books on it. Different colors make us as humans like feel different things, and that's why a lot of brands use blue or certain brands use red. Just
Interesting thing also
psychology.
Is that, yeah, I agree. And in different cultures, colors are perceived differently. Means in different countries, more other colors are popular. So some companies even that work internationally use colors, different colors for the logo in different countries, which makes it even more interesting. Like, you really have to understand your audience. And in some cultures, colors mean different things. Means it can also mean something really bad or something that doesn't really fit to your brand that you want to create.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind as well.
Totally. And something that we can actually try to do right now as well is adding a new layer within After Effects. So just in case you guys aren't doing a template and you're not worrying about your type, or if you did create your type in After Effects rather than Photoshop like we did yesterday, you can change the background color within After Effects. So what you can do is go to Layer, New, Solid, or you can do Shape Layer. But for this purpose, we can just do Solid. And then you can already set the color. So let's see, what color do I want? I want something along these lines, but something about this pink is feeling slightly off to me. What do you think?
The one that you just picked?
The one that I have.
What do you think? Maybe we should take something that's more colorful, like more bright, or do you want to go into the dark side?
I want it to really, more than anything, I want the orbs to pop. And I think that because we have such a range from dark to light, it's really difficult for us to find that. So if you guys have like less of a range within your gradient, it's a lot easier to find a color that works.
That's true. What if we try something that goes into like dark gray?
Ooh, okay.
Or like cream color.
Cream. I think I found the lighter colors aren't popping as much, so let's try.
Okay.
We could try a gray. It's like a green gray.
And 14 minutes for portfolio submission deadline means submit your portfolios so we can review them. That's going to be fun. I'm so looking forward to that.
So now my work went away. Oh no. All you need to do is drag this down.
All the work is gone.
It's
back.
back.
No. Oh, now it really looks like a night sky.
Yeah, for me, this is not working.
No, and also the purple totally disappears in the dark gray.
So see, you can change that if you want to.
Suggestion is also by Ashish that the pink could be a little bit darker.
Okay. So what you can do is go to the layer and go to solid settings, and then you can change the color. So maybe, I really like the mauve, but maybe it needs to be a darker mauve. I feel like mauve is the theme of my year, you guys. My room is very white, but it has a mauve bedspread.
Oh, wow.
And I just got a pillow for my living room that's that color. I just like it.
Oh, cool.
It's lighter than this. More like the color within the orb.
Yeah, you kind of always surround yourself with the colors that you like.
Yeah. I kind of think this is working okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the dark purple is still very much visible because this mauve is very colorful, and it kind of gives it more contrast than, for example, dark gray. Oh, that one was nice too.
So this is what we had before.
I think that's maybe even nicer because
like
it has
better?
more color.
Yeah.
Kind of pops more.
Yeah, you're right. This is a little sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's as simple as trying something else and seeing
exactly,
that it doesn't
and
work.
seeing that it doesn't work.
And now I kind of like this again.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to leave it.
Yeah.
So let's go back and check out the other animation that we did. So file, open, recent, 43. Okay. Isn't that what we just had? Yes. File, open, recent, 43.1.
There we go. So, what do you guys think? Pulsing or moving? Pulsing or moving? I think that's really cool. What do you think, Amanda?
I like both now, honestly.
They give a different feeling though, right?
Yeah, like I'm wondering if, is that bothering you how it goes slower at the end when it doesn't go slow the whole time? Or do you like that?
Well, I don't know. You have to decide because it's your feeling that we want to describe.
This is a collaborative experience, you guys.
Well, for me, to be honest, I like the simplicity in the beginning. This kind of gives it more like a heartbeat feel. We could also just stay simple and keep this one basic, the one basic pop.
So
that would take a little break and then repeat itself again.
So if you guys see here, you can just see through the keyframes that we have some variation in the pacing. See, it's more spread out here and it's more spread out at the end, but here we have the rhythm. So we need to decide within these 5 seconds, how are we gonna alter this?
Dylan says Pulse makes more of a music feel to him. I agree.
Yeah. We can export both, you guys, and that way we can see them side by side.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're going to talk about today, is also exporting and then saving as a GIF and saving as a movie.
And then maybe we can upload it to your Behance portfolio.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Cool. And for my website as well, I don't know if you guys have portfolio websites, but a lot of times websites need GIFs rather than videos. Because then the viewer would have to press play, and you usually want to have as little effort by the viewer as possible. So
what we just saw on your Behance portfolio was actually a GIF, right? That you put into
Those are GIFs, yes.
Okay. So,
yeah, I think if anything, the end is feeling a little bit slow to me. So what we can do is we can actually edit the timeline, so it doesn't have to be 5 seconds. Just because I selected that in the beginning doesn't mean we need to keep it. 1, this goes 2. So I could make it shorter if I wanted to. And just cut it there, see if it would help. So if you're wondering what time it is, you can see here, 4:12. So let's see, as if it were to stop there, how the pacing would feel. Stops about there. Versus having this extra second. To me, I think that would help.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we can go ahead and go After Effects, Composition settings. So it's under Composition. Then I'm going to go ahead and edit my timeline duration. So 4:12. So nothing's ever set in stone on these programs, which is really cool. Okay.
Awesome.
So it just cropped it for me.
Super cool. And by the way, if you guys want to experiment with After Effects, oh yeah, I think that works well.
Yeah.
You can also go to stock.adobe.com, and there you can find some super cool gradients that you can just download and experiment with. So what you have to do is, for example, here, what you can see is there's a bunch of super cool presets and gradients that you can use. For example, these you can just download, and it's an AI file, meaning you can create those layers that Amanda showed you how, and then you can actually work with those stock graphics and experiment with those. So I think that can give a really cool touch to a photo or to the poster that you want to create. So yeah, just a recommendation.
Yes. Yeah, so I think really just shaving off those seconds, that it wasn't even a full second that we shaved off. It was 48 seconds that we shaved off. It changes the pacing of this video. So it's something as simple as that can make the biggest difference. So why don't we go ahead and export this? What do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
So to pause, you press spacebar, Command S, just make sure I have it saved. Composition, somewhere over here. File. It's been a while, you guys. Composition, render. Okay, so it's going to be under export. So if you ever forget where something is, just use this little help bar that Adobe has. That's why they have it there. It's awesome. So I just clicked in render, export. Yeah, so it's under file. So file, export, add to render queue. So what that's going to do, it's going to create a queue. So if you have multiple things going on, you can add it there. And then you can actually edit the settings before you render it. So we're going to press that. Okay. And then here, so your timeline goes away for a second. I just personally click on each of these 3 blue links just so I can make sure everything's correct and it's what I want. So quality best, of course. Why would you not want the best quality? No, it's really if you need like a smaller file or something, it has all those options for you.
Awesome.
So just go ahead and press OK. And see, I could even actually say I wanted to just for some reason export only half of the video. You can crop it just for this export. So there's a lot that you can do just for your workflow that's cool. But for right now, let's just leave it there. Okay?
Awesome.
QuickTime, none, RGB. So pretty much I'm leaving everything, but I'm just checking to see if there's anything I need to change. We're not worried about audio because there's no sound. Here, I just leave it on animation. These are just different formats, okay? Okay.
Cool.
Then this is the main thing that actually you might want to edit is the name and where you're going to save this, okay? So
and the format, right?
Right, so just make sure it's going to be somewhere that you can find it, and we're going to say 43.
So now we have 43 PS, we have 43 AI, and now we have 43 move.
Yes, and we're going to go ahead and press save. Okay, and then you're going to find this render button on the right side. Press render. And you're going to see it going through the movement there, rendering it for you. And then if I wasn't connected to this setup here, it would probably make a bloop. And that's when you know it's done. So we can Command H, hide, go to my desktop. 43.move, you're going to open it. So QuickTime Player usually needs to convert it. Don't ask me
Marta
why.
is asking, where's your type? Well, Amanda didn't feel like it.
Sorry, Marta. Yeah, so we kind of had the word change, and you know what I was thinking about this yesterday? We have the word change right here. We're saying it with these items.
Yeah.
For me, it was too much. And that's personal preference. If you guys want to incorporate type on yours, that's totally fine.
Yeah, you can do the exact same things that we did with the orbs. You can also do the same things with the type. Let the type zoom in, zoom out, float in space.
Yeah, so as you see right now, this is a movie, so it's only going to play the 4 seconds. 4:12, right? 4:12.
Awesome.
Okay,
Super cool.
so we're going to go ahead and render the other one as well, so we can look at them side by side. So go back to After Effects, save this, Command S, file, open recent.
Yeah, we only have 3 minutes to the portfolio reviews.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's going to be exciting.
so let's be quick and export this. So export, so file, export, add to render queue. Everything's fine, 43.1. So I'm renaming it, make sure it's on my desktop, render. So it's really easy, you guys. See, you're making a movie.
It's really not difficult at all.
Command H, open it up.
Bam.
It's kind of crazy seeing them next to each other. So we have this one, we have this one.
Yeah, I think the pulsing is super intense.
I agree. I really, now that I see them next to each other for the purposes of this topic, change, I am liking the pulsing because, like we said, I feel like a lot of times you're apprehensive when you're going into change in your life, and then you feel more comfortable with it, and then you're there. So I like it. Okay?
Yeah, I agree.
And you can always just keep experimenting and rendering different things and seeing what you like.
And if you're exporting it for your Behance portfolio or for your website, sometimes it's better, as Amanda said, that you export it as a GIF. That's just a setting that you can do while you're exporting.
Right.
So.
And the way, again, there's multiple ways. Adobe Media Encoder is another awesome tool that comes with your Creative Cloud subscription that allows you to really easily edit file sizes and file types. We're not going to use that today, but we're going to go ahead and save out a GIF in Photoshop. So what you're going to do, this is the way I do it. Again, there's multiple ways to do this. Why don't we close this template out? We don't need it right now. Okay, Command H, hide. So all I'm going to do is grab the movie that I want. I don't know why QuickTime Player converts things. When it does, it makes it a really large file, so I usually don't save it like that. Delete. So it's going to be this one. We're going to drag 43 into Photoshop. So that's something cool you can do, is drag your files in if you don't want to, if you don't want to go the long way. So
cool.
It's loading here.
I didn't even know that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So Command 0 to make it full screen. I'm gonna make this full screen. Okay. So we have our thing here, and check it out. Photoshop also has a timeline. If you guys didn't know, you can actually animate within Photoshop. Maybe we need to do a session on that another time.
Yeah. Yeah, after the submissions, the portfolios reviews, we still have a couple of minutes time. But now it's time to review some cool portfolios that you guys submitted. Awesome. Super excited about that. We're floating in space.
Woo.
Woo. Welcome into space. Welcome into the portfolio review space. And today we're gonna be reviewing two amazing portfolios. One of them is Dylan Dunaway. Awesome first glance, Dylan.
Ooh.
This already looks super cool. And a big variety because you have this Lolly Cakes Bakery and this very pinkish looking designs, and then you have this very technical looking design. So Amanda, which one do we pick?
Wow, so many
first?
options. This looks really great. I like the pacing of the colors and the way you laid this out. On your
Yeah, I
hands.
like it too. Should we look at the packaging?
Yeah, let's check it out.
St. Joseph's Candle Company. Candles. Ooh, I love candles. First off, the logo. It looks very elegant to me, and I really love the mix between serif and sans serif. I think it's a very great combination.
Yeah, it's looking clean to me.
The color is also great. It's not only black and white. It's like this darker gray.
Yeah, it's
that
looking
you
nice.
picked.
It's looking very clean, almost giving me like a Kiehl's kind of vibe.
Yeah, I love it. The little palm trees and a lighter color in the background. I think it's a cool contrast for this very serious looking branding, then to pop it off with some palm trees. I think it looks really cool. Candles have these very subtle colors, which I think works well with the packaging color. Yeah, that's cool. Really nice wrapping paper.
I like that you incorporate the pattern in the wrapping. It really adds a lot to the packaging experience.
Yeah, for sure. And here you really get the feel as if you're just opened your package. So this is basically this box, correct?
Yes, I think so. Looks a different dimension.
Yeah, I don't really see the connection here. Maybe it's a different kind of packaging.
It might be a mock-up as well. That might be why.
Yeah. Yeah, just make sure whenever you're using mock-ups that you use products that are very, very similar so you don't see a big difference, because it can be a little bit confusing. If it's just for you to understand how like the logo or the pattern will look like, that's fine. But when you're presenting the ready project, it will be cool to have a connection between the different products.
Yes.
Yeah, love it. This is cool. This reminds me of Florida. The sunny Florida.
You go to Florida a lot.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
I
Yeah,
love
so
Florida.
now here we see it knocked out on the gray. It works pretty well.
So I see like the brand colors are this darker gray and almost this offset white that you used here for the background. I think that works pretty well.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit more subtle, and usually when you're using very high contrast with serifs, they tend to look very serious. And in this case, that you didn't pick a black, but like a darker gray, kind of smooths this out a little bit.
Yeah, one piece of feedback. Do we have a lot more of this project, or is it almost okay?
Oh, we have some more. Yeah.
I would say maybe one suggestion, if we are to give you feedback, this is a really strong project. If you go back up to that gray logo, yes, down, where we were just looking at it. Yes, I almost feel like there might be some reasoning behind why you chose this gray, which I would love to hear more from you. Unfortunately, we can't right now. But I'm thinking maybe if you added a more rich color rather than gray, it would add some more depth to your project. What do you think? Maybe I'm just picturing like a rich forest green or some sort of islandy green. Maybe would add more personality than the gray, but again, maybe you have some reasoning behind why you chose that.
Yeah, it's always good when you're introducing a project to give reasoning behind your decisions. So, what is this company about? So the viewers that looks through your project kind of gets an idea and a feel. What is this candle company about? What is their goal? What audience do they want to reach?
Right.
And also, you kind of want to point out why you picked the typefaces like that, and yeah, just point out all the decisions that you made inside the design process. The colors that you picked. You can also give the colors names, for example.
Totally.
Because I think you actually picked super cool colors. These colors are very subtle.
They're very clean.
Very clean, and they give the brand a good feel and a good a feeling of belonging together.
Right. So what if the background of that logo is even that gold that you see there, or that sage green?
Yeah.
So it would just kind of like bring everything full circle a little bit more for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I would maybe show the logo with the different color backgrounds, you know,
or maybe
lined
you have
up next to
business
each
cards
other.
mocked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but overall it's very strong. I would say it looks very sophisticated, which is hard to do. So good job.
Yeah. And also the combination between this very serious serif logo and then palm trees, you know, it's not easy to make. And I think you maintained it with the subtle colors that also kind of look very classy and very elegant. So I think that was oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so you're
Awesome.
even doing it there.
Cool.
Nice.
Great project. Get a thumbs up from me. Okay, what do you want to look at next, Amanda?
I'm wondering what this roar is about.
Okay, roar. Looks more technical. Oh yeah, there we go, logo exploration. That is awesome to see how you can use the logo in different variation. So yeah. And here you also added a description, which is awesome. It's a Swiss Hyperloop company based in Zurich. They use the same technology designed by Tesla and SpaceX. So this is a technological company as far as I understand, and I think the logo fits very well to a technological company like that. Oh yeah, now we can see what it's all about. Okay.
Nice.
I think it's cool to show how like the website or the assets look on technical devices like a laptop or a computer or a phone. So that's cool. This looks awesome.
Yeah, that's really nice. I think that's really unique. I feel like boarding passes already have this like predetermined template of what our brain thinks boarding passes look like. So I think that's quite creative what you did there.
Yeah, it's awesome. I would love to see more of like how you develop this app or whatever it is, or this page here on the phone. Maybe you can show multiple screens like you did here with these cards. Maybe you can show more screens, how the flow through the app is.
I feel like you can tell this project was a lot of work, but we're kind of missing some of that with what you're showing us here. So I'm sure you have some more assets that you can add.
Yeah, and also you have a clear brand color here, which is a gradient from this darker blue to this more ocean blue. Maybe you can define it better, or like you can say it goes from this blue to this blue, you know, kind of make it look more technical and explained. I think that makes the viewer to understand better like what the settings, the brand sets are.
Right. And I remember in design school we always learned like, don't make logos with gradients because they need to be black or white when they're printed. But I feel like in today's world that's kind of changing. Everything is, so much of brand presence is digital that I feel that line's starting to be possible.
I agree, definitely.
And of course you have it shown in white, so if it needs to be a color, it can be. So I think
I
that's
agree.
pretty
It
cool.
needs to work in black and white because that's where you can see the negative space the best with the high contrast. But I think gradients are super cool to use, especially this one is awesome. Also, how
It's
you
really
set the
nice,
picture in the background.
smooth gradient.
Yeah. And this blue is also looking very technological, so I think it works pretty well.
Psychology of color.
Yay! Awesome. Thumbs up. Cool. All right, should we do another quick one?
Sure. I'll let you choose.
Okay, spyglass. What is spyglass? I love the play with the typeface here. First of all, the A here that kind of goes onto the L. I think that's a cool cool play here because the L usually has a lot of negative space around it, and the A and the L kind of would have a lot of space around it. So the joining of those two, I think, is a great deal for the logo itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's nice to see because I feel like having sans serif logos now is such the norm. Not saying that's a bad thing, but like the fact that you actually dissected these letters and did something your own with them is really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's very legible as well.
That's true. Okay. This is kind of like an introduction to what the brand is all about. Again, some kind of description would be good in the beginning. You probably have some here. Oh, this is a nice play. It looks very modern, very experimental.
Ooh, I like those chairs.
Yeah, this mock-up, I think it's a mock-up. It looks really cool. Yeah. The whole brand basically, as I understand it, is black and white colored, but then you kind of combine it with this colored photography that you kind of also find here in the animation. Yeah, I like it, but I still unfortunately don't understand what it's about. So again, it will be really cool to define it in the beginning.
Yeah, we're getting some sort of kind of fashion
vibes, but I don't really know what exactly the product is for.
And I don't know if it's a brand that I've known before that's something to do with spy, but I thought of like sunglasses. So maybe...
Okay, because it has the word glass in it.
Yeah, so maybe it is sunglasses.
Might be. But there's no glasses in this picture, for example.
Right.
And in this picture.
Maybe they're expanding to fashion.
Oh, could be. Okay, so it's about fashion. It's like a fashion warehouse, right?
Everyone's loving Dylan's work. Thanks for the comments.
Yeah, and you guys should also support each other with a thumbs up. So make sure you go to their projects and give them a thumbs up.
Yeah, I think it's cool how you're kind of implementing what you did with the logo, repeating with the motion, kind of moving in that same way.
Yeah. And the imagery, if it's really fashion, I would probably explain it a little bit more because for me, I didn't really know who the client is. All right. Awesome. Awesome, Dylan. Great portfolio.
Yeah,
I love it.
Really nice work.
Yeah. And I think it's very important to kind of fill out, if you have a bunch of projects, it's good to fill out at least the first page when you open somebody's profile. It already looks very professional if you kind of have a bunch of them in here. So yeah, I love it. All right, next one is gonna be Andres Avila. Andres Avila. Yeah, this looks very modern. Reminds me of Amanda a little bit. Let's check out what it is. 36 days of type. Awesome.
It.
Yeah. It's kind of something that every designer participates in. So it's cool to participate, to show that you are really able to experiment with type. I think it's a very recognized project. Third time lucky. Okay, this is in Spanish. I would recommend to maybe put it in different languages. So when you have, for example, if you want to present your portfolio to a client, to a potential client, you might want them to understand what it says. So if I was the client, I would have to read into it, but I would not really on the first sight understand. So yeah. A, B, C, D. I mean, I love it. It kind of works all together because it all is based on lines that are kind of connected. I would love this to be animated.
Ooh. Yeah.
So now, Andres, you can really try to animate this in After Effects after what you learned from Amanda
Scale
today.
and position.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
I think that would really enhance the feel of it.
Wow,
Especially,
I really think it's great what you're doing though, creating that depth with it. It feels like each part of this E is a tangible object. Like it feels like it has depth.
Yeah, I agree. It's super cool. Yeah. I love how you're using the simplicity of a line in such versatile way. Like here, you're almost creating a three-dimensional object,
Yeah.
right? And here as well. Here it's kind of more flat, but this is basically the same concept of the line. So it basically shows how you can use lines to create different feels.
And I really like how you kept it black and white. I think if you added a bunch of color, it would just distract from your work. So I really like that.
Yeah, and you're using these grayish off-white colors, which also makes it look very, very sophisticated. And this not exactly black color, super cool with the black dots in the back.
It's like a rich gray.
Yeah, and I see you use some kind of template that you repeated over and over again, which I think is very cool to keep them all consistent. Exactly. And this one kind of moves while scrolling.
Yes, if this thing was spinning, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah. I think many lines next to each other sometimes create some visual effects that we can't really understand. Like when I'm scrolling, it looks like
illusion.
Yeah, it's an optical illusion, exactly. So yeah, it's an awesome exploration of the line itself. If you look at this, for example, it looks like it's three-dimensional.
Yes.
And it's all lines. Here, lines combined with circles. And all these things you can do in Illustrator, which is amazing. Ooh.
Ooh, that S, yes.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
This looks like a tube.
I think these are really creative.
Yeah. You definitely did a good exploration of...
You should post these as much as you can around.
Yeah, for sure.
Instagram, maybe a blog, your website.
This is awesome. Ooh, this 8. This reminds me of candy.
Candy cane.
A very good job. I think it's a really nice exploration. I love also that you put it in different sizes. So it kind of keeps versatile and it doesn't get boring scrolling through it.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good job.
Good job.
Good job. All right. Should we look at this one?
Sure.
Hey, jewelry and clothing.
Nice colors. Those are really nice.
Yeah. Very modern looking. This light pink and dark green. I think it's very popular at the moment.
I really like how you're juxtaposing the condensed logo with the extended typeface on the back of the card that you're using to support the logo. I think the contrast is really, really nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. Also, you picked this very light pink, which is almost looks like white. Yeah.
The R, you're legit.
Oh yeah. The R. The R makes things legit, right? I also like this very unusual layout here.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but it flows really well.
Yeah.
I think it's because you're framing, like almost like what we did with the template yesterday. You're creating these guidelines and creating a frame for yourself.
Yeah, you can see it's all nicely aligned. It works pretty well. And here is also the most important information is either at the top left or it's sticking out through a thicker typeface. That's hierarchy right there. Hey, jewelry and clothing. Una marca dedicada a la creación, and so on. Okay, Spanish again. I think it's really cool if you're working with only inside your country, but if you really want to expand your, show your work to different other countries, then it would be great if you kind of try to put it into different languages for people to understand. It's really cool.
Yes.
I mean, I love Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really think you have a really good sense of just hierarchy and space, the way that you lay things out.
Yeah. Again, here I love this super light. Okay, this is this light pink, and then this very dark, intense green.
Nice kerning.
I think it's a really good combination. Yeah.
Nice kerning.
And nice kerning as well. You can pour the same amount of water in here as you can put in here, right? And it will flow at the same time. That's what we learned from Amanda yesterday. Awesome. I like how you stacked it here.
Yeah, it's
so it's very well readable.
But unique also. Most people would just square it up with the logo.
Yeah. By the way, guys, if you've never experimented with type in Illustrator, you can just take any typeface, create outlines, and then experiment with it. Try to move the dots and try to move the vectors around to create your own unique logo type. I can recommend doing that. Yeah, this is nice.
I will say here, for me personally, the logo feels really large. I know you're kind of using it to square off that top section with your small type on the left. But to me, I don't know if it's the combination of the large logo in the really left-aligned paragraphs that you're kind of breaking there. Something's looking off there to me personally.
Yeah, because you have a line here, right? Kind of like a guideline that you align the text to. And then the logo kind of starts here, so it creates a second line, which breaks with the text. So I think that might be the issue here.
So maybe if you just opened up those paragraphs all the way to the T, it might help solve that, but also maybe... I feel like you don't need the logo to be as large as the bottom line of that phone number.
I agree. It's very dominant here.
Yeah. But you're almost there. It's looking good.
It's looking really good, yeah.
I know those things take time, so.
All right.
Ooh, I like how you put the logo on the flap of the envelope. Very high-end looking.
That's true. That's amazing. I like the background that it's this pinkish color that you've been using throughout your brand guidelines. The label. I think it's good to show how the logo appears on different objects. Really cool. A different way to put colors on the product.
Nice mock-up. Or maybe it's a photo. Can't tell.
Yeah. If you can't tell, that's a good mock-up then. The more realistic it looks, the better, huh? You can actually also create mock-ups like this on Adobe Dimension, which is a pretty new application. I think it's super cool because you can download those different packagings and put them together and change the background. I really enjoy doing that.
Which is super helpful because it's hard to find the right mock-ups on the internet.
Yeah, sometimes.
Interwebs.
And also like that, you can create your own kind of mock-ups, which will make you stand out and look unique. I love the colors here again. It's great that you chose this very, very light pink background, which kind of works with the bags.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice.
Super cool. Great project.
Loving it.
Awesome. Okay. Great, Andres. We love it. We love it. And I think the cover pictures that you picked here are super versatile, and I feel like here, for example, you picked the logo types, symbols, marks, and here you picked the same kind of layout, which makes them belong together. It's amazing. It's great. Okay, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It was super cool. I think we learned so many new things from Amanda. And yeah, we're great. We are very grateful that you guys have been supporting us so much. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us through Behance or Instagram. We are always glad to answer any questions that you guys have. And yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully see you very soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Bye.